Greetings, believers and non-believers. This is Rabbit Ape.
Or rather, this is a video response to his video, Transitional Color Between Blue and Green. Now, you may want to go click this button right here. You might not know what it does, but it's awesome, believe me. Now, the argument was, what is a transitional form? This question often comes along, or the argument comes that there are no transitional fossils and so on and so forth. But between blue and green, there are some transitions. And over generations, you will have, at the beginning, blue, and later on you will have something that you can clearly define as green, right here. But between each generation are small changes that occur. And I represented those changes by using drops of this yellow food coloring. Now, let's say this glass here, this animal here, is your parents. Pure blue. So if you're racist, your parents were pure blue, hate everyone else. You are also blue, but there was a slight genetic mutation that occurred between generations that involved some of this yellow stuff, and it entered your DNA quite accidentally through a random mutation when your parents had you. So you are slightly green. And when you have kids, they will also have that slight mutation, but they might have some more mutations because they happen pretty much every generation. Slight changes that occur because of mutation, because you have to have sex with someone to have offspring, and they have DNA that's different from yours, so those changes carry over. And again, same thing for them. When they reproduce, they will have offspring that have some slight changes with themselves. And I don't know how well you can see this, but the difference between these two colors is very minor. The difference between these two is very minor, and the difference between these two is very minor. But let's say I act as an evil atheist and erase you and your children from history. I'm just destroying the history of you and your children like that. I'm so evil. What you have is your grandchildren here and your parents, side by side. And this is the sort of thing we see in the fossil record. There's steps missing between the way because not every generation is going to leave behind fossils. And there's so many families that you couldn't get a complete record anyways. But what the argument usually is that this is its own species. It was created fully formed like this, and this one was extant exactly the way it is right now. And there's a barrier between the two that is called creation, and God made this species and this species, and He killed off these, and He made these later on. Or they made them at the same time, and they're just buried at different depths. But really, this is blue, this is green, not because it's a separate thing, simply because small changes added over time to amount to a different result than this. And the pictures that Rabbit Ape mentions are these, the intermediate steps. Each drop in the pool of DNA is just a small change. And you can say, okay, this is blue, well, okay, this is still kind of blue, and this is, well, this is kind of blue, it's kind of green, but, you know, I don't exactly know where it fits. Oh, but this one is a green one. Yeah, that's where it turned green. But no, between these two, I could have used half a drop of food coloring. I could have used a quarter. The changes could have been so slight you would never have noticed. Just like between here and here, the differences could have been as wide as here and here. So is this blue? No, this isn't blue. Is this blue? No, this isn't blue. Is it green? It's not green either. This is blue with a small little change in it, and this is that color with another small little change in it. And this is this color with a small little change in it. So where's green? Where's blue? It's completely arbitrary. We, humans, are the ones who say this is one form and this is another. The fact is, you, being a transitional form yourself, are not all that different from this one. And you're not going to be all that different from this one if you have kids, or if you do currently have kids. And they're not going to be all that different. It's going to be pretty much the same form. But when you take away the intermediate steps, like this, again, I'm erasing you from history. When you erase those steps, or you don't find the fossils for them, you're left with a gap like this. And that's when we can say, this happened, let's say, 15 million years ago. This happened 1 million years ago. It's just a transition in between this and whatever comes later on, which I don't have a glass for, unfortunately. But those small changes add up over time, slowly, gradually, more and more green, until you finally reach this checkpoint, if you will, this milestone in the evolution, and we find a fossil for it. It's green. You can call this tiktaalik, and these would be, let's say, a fish. It's still the same lineage, the same DNA passed on over millions and millions of years, adding little changes over time to give you something so different that it can do this sort of thing online. Isn't that amazing? So there you go. Those little pictures that Rabbit Ape talks about, they're the fossils. The colors, blue, green, they're completely arbitrary, just like species, just like transitional forms are arbitrary, but they're useful. Because if we call this blue and this blue, how do you know which grass to cut and what sky to watch? Okay, that was completely corny, but you get the point. We need labels. Labels are useful, but it's arbitrary. There is no such thing as greenish blue in terms of evolution. It's just slight changes over time, adding up to big changes. Macroevolution. Isn't that nice? Hope you enjoyed.